Hello, everybody out there in Radio Land and online. You are tuned into The Divide with Marcus C. Williams. Thank you for being here. You are listening to me. I am in your ear having the conversations that you need to hear. We've got a lot of conversations to have today. This is the #1 conservative talk show in all of New York State. Make us #1 in the nation. Share this, hit the like button. Hit the share, drop some comments. If you drop a comment, I'll do my best to pop it up on the screen. But if you drop a comment and you're watching a replay, I'm going to respond to it. I respond to all of the comments that come up. So definitely share this on your page, your friend's page, your mama page, your cousin page, the other pages of the people that you don't like, and share it in some groups and other places. Send it in some emails. It don't matter where you send it. Just get it out there so we can have these conversations that are important together. Now, I want to thank you guys for tuning in this Christmas season. As you guys start to tune in, we were talking about how the reason for the season is Jesus Christ. And we don't talk about Christ enough anymore in our society. America was founded on Christian principles, and that is something that is so integral to our nation that it says, "In God we trust," on our money. On our money, which is livelihood, money which allows you to buy food for your family and for yourself to survive, money which allows you to keep a roof over your head. It says, "In God we trust." And right now, that is what we must do, trust in God more than anything. As we come upon this holiday season, we see all the crime and all the violence, not just in our nation, not just in my city, but all across the world. Christians are being slaughtered in all of North Africa. They're being slaughtered in Israel and Gaza. They're being slaughtered in China. But can we talk about that? No, we can't, because they would rather that you be quiet on the persecution of Christians. And it's extended to persecution inside our nation that has integral ties to the Lord our Father and Jesus Christ. They used to have the 10 Commandments in all the schools and all the courthouses. Then in like the 60s, they started to remove all of them. Well, you look at the timing of when they started to remove all of that type of stuff, and you see the complete downturn of society from there forward. Like the 60s started to be the end of the beginning, or the end of the greatness, where the culture of society was dual parent households. You had the American dream. And from there on out, everything just slowly kind of collapsed because society eroded as we took God out of everything. And as Christians in America, we must stand. Right now, they'll tell you, "Oh, no, you shouldn't be down against the Islamists that are trying to take over our nation and reshape it in what they want to see. Oh, no, you shouldn't be against the Zionists who are saying that they're Jewish so they can use that as a cop-out, because if you say anything against them, it's anti-Semitic, but really they're only serving their own personal purposes and the benefit of a foreign nation." So as Christians, they tell us that we can't talk about either of these issues. Well, both of these people, these groups of individuals, deny the divinity of Jesus Christ. They deny the divinity of Jesus Christ. And then we wonder why we are so much obstinately opposed to the agenda that is being pushed by both of these groups. I like Daniel Prager, okay? PragerU, that guy. I know not everybody likes him or whatever. I like him like 85%. I'm not going to throw out an 85% ally for 15% that I don't like. But he said openly, now he is a practicing Jew, okay? And he said openly many times that all of the isms, feminism, okay, transsexualism, okay, alphabetism, okay, all of that, he said, this is what Daniel Prager said, a practicing Jew. Okay, he said that those all come from Jewish people. That's been the Jews that have pushed all of that. Can we have that conversation? If Jews can say that and they can acknowledge that, how come we can't have that conversation? We see in our nation what's going on with these Islamists, okay? And they're putting up all of these different mosques, forcing stores saying, oh, you can't sell pork. Oh, you can't have dogs in these neighborhoods, or whatever the case is. You can't have dogs? Like, dogs are integral to American society, you know? Like, but this again, it goes back to the thing. And the fact of the matter is that they are obstinately opposed, both groups, to Christianity and to the divinity of Jesus Christ. But we should be with them? Absolutely not. Now, here's the important part, so nobody gets it twisted, okay? The Islamists are not necessarily the same thing as the people who practice Islam. These Zionists are not necessarily the same people that are just considered to be Jews, you know, especially Messianic Jews, okay? Those are some real ones, okay? Don't get me started on that conversation. That's a whole nother conversation, because they actually accept the divinity of Jesus Christ, right? Like, if anybody denies the divinity of Jesus Christ, if they deny the Son, they deny the Father. Why are we even dealing with them? You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that you should be against anybody, but I am saying that we shouldn't let them influence our politics. We shouldn't let them be dealing with our stuff, and we shouldn't be dealing with them. They don't deal with us. Like, are we serious? Unless it's to take money out of our pockets and out of our community, neither the Islamists nor the Zionists want anything to do with us. They don't want anything to do with us. Christians have no friends. I don't know what it's going to take for more people to understand that. As a group, as a composite whole, we don't have any friends. You might have a friend that is your friend that is a Muslim, or your friend that is a Jewish individual. Okay, Jews and Zionists are not mutually exclusive. That's a whole nother conversation. But they, as a group, as a collective whole, neither group wants anything good for Christians. They don't. They don't like us. They despise us. They think that we're stupid. They think that both groups think that we're heretics. Why do you think that they're trying to take Christ out of everything? The Zionists tried to pass a law in Congress. Go look this up, okay? Don't take my word because I'm saying it. Believe me because I'm telling you, and go look it up. They put a law in Congress they tried to pass where we couldn't say that the Jews killed Jesus Christ, okay? That they crucified Jesus Christ. And they did. I see some comments coming in. I'm going to hit them comments in a second. And they did. The Jews did have Jesus Christ killed. Thankfully, in his divinity, he rose again from the dead. Okay? Because why? Because can't get right, you know? And thank the Lord that our Father came to earth in the embodiment of the Son and sacrificed himself for us. Because I promise y'all, I could not keep the law. Now more than ever, I would not be able to keep the law. The law is so difficult, especially in the modern age. Okay, and that's something that we need to recognize, and we need to be ever so thankful and ever so grateful for the sacrifice of Jesus Christ on Calvary and him overcoming death, going through death and coming back on the other side so that we can overcome death and that we can be one with the Father in heaven after we pass. If we only rely on Jesus, give our heart and our mind and our body and our soul to the teachings that he gave us in his walk and his journey on this earth. Why? Because that was God in the flesh. That is the divinity of the deity right here amongst us. Let's hit some of these comments. Let's see what we got. Somebody says, would you, what does that say? Somebody's just trying to sell me stuff. Hey, Randy, I see you there, Randy. Let's put Randy's comment up. Randy, good to have you with us. Please hit the like button and the heart button. I see more people watching than liking. Hit them like buttons and drop some comments. Kevin, man, I see you there, Kevin. Thank you for commenting. Appreciate you. Love you, brother. Okay, we got, what else we got? Some other stuff. Let's see. Somebody else commented. Got comments coming in too fast. Oh, somebody else trying to sell me something. All right, drop some comments And if you drop some comments, I'll pop them up on the screen and you can become part of the conversation. But as we have these important conversations, we have to recognize that Jesus Christ and the Lord our Father is integral in the American story and in our history. That is why we have had so much plenty in our nation. And now that we have turned away from Jesus, we have been suffering. Like I said, when they took the 10 Commandments out of the schools, when they took the Bibles out of the schools back in the 60s, since then, it's been a complete downturn in society. Now we're here and they're telling us that we can't even spread the gospel, that you can't even preach, you can't even sing, you can't even worship in public. You know what I'm saying? These are the type of things that people say, oh, no, that's not happening. It's definitely happening. It's definitely happening. And we need to have those conversations. But can we? We're going to come back to that. But real quick, I want to jump into my city right here, Rochester, New York, talking about a lack of Jesus and a lack of God. Let's talk about these crackpots that we have on city council, all of these socialists. Now, socialists and communists, you guys, they deny any God. They hate any religion. So if anybody says that they're a socialist or a communist and that they are religious in any affiliation that is not socialism or communism, they can't be. They can't be Jewish. They can't be Christian. They can't be Muslim. They can't be Hindu. They can't be Buddhist, because socialism denies all of that and all gods. Okay? They do not believe in a superior being. They don't believe in anything but the state. The state is God in socialism. And we just saw that in practice by these socialists on city council where I live. Stanley Martin, open, devout socialist, allegedly, right? She's a member of the DSA. They endorse her and all this nonsense. Mary Lupian, okay, she is endorsed by the DSA, And then Kim Smith, she's endorsed by the socialists too. So now all three of these and this other guy, Patterson, okay, all of them vote for a 25% raise for them for city council. Now, this is crazy. This is at the end of the year, right after an election cycle. Why wouldn't you do this before an election cycle, you may ask? Well, because some of those seats were up for election, and they know that the people would have had a fit if they would have known that you were going to raise your pay 25%. Like, you knew what the pay was when you got in there, right? Like, you ran for office and you knew what the pay was going to be. And it doesn't even matter if you don't, because it's a public service position. It's a public service position. And then you're going to raise your percentage 25%. That's crazy. And normally it's a 3% raise for inflation or whatever. No, 25%. Now, let me tell you about our city. Our city is struggling. Our city is struggling. 56% food insecurity, 60% housing insecurity. We got like a 33% poverty rate in our city, and these crackpots are out there raising their salary. Like, are we serious right now? Like, is this for real? Like, is this the Twilight Zone? You've done nothing to deserve a raise. In addition to that, we even had Mary Lupian, who was just running for mayor. Okay, she was running for mayor, and she said to the news, she said, we're a legislative body that does not legislate. Well, if you're a legislative body that does not legislate, that means that the one job that you have, you are not doing. So there is no way now that you can justify a pay raise. Are you serious? This is what's happening in my city of Rochester right now. This is what these socialists are about. They only want your money. They don't want to give more money to everybody else. They want to take your money and they want to split it amongst everybody else and give themselves the majority of the money. Y'all got to wake up to these fake socialist scammers. Okay, that's all that it is. It's a giant grift. It always has been. Mao, grift. Okay, Kim's grift, because there's 4 of them, all the Kims in Korea. Okay, Hugo Chavez, grift. Okay. All of these people, I could go on. Grift. Everywhere there's ever been socialism. Grift. Freaking, what's his name? Hitler, Mustache Man, grift. Okay, all of them. Grift. Okay, what's to call them? Stalin, grift. Lenin, grift. All of them. Grift, 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 grift. Socialism is a grift. Communism is a grift. Don't fall for the nonsense, and this is why we have to push back against it so heartily. But are you willing to stand? Hit that like button, hit that share button. It don't cost you nothing. Okay, if you're listening to us on the radio, please donate to the radio station. You can do that by going to Patreon, okay, and go to rochesterfreeradio.com. And when you do a donation, you can just type in The Divide with Marcus C. Williams in the donation notes, and it'll get credited for our show. If you are online, check out the sides right there or check out down there, okay? And that'll show you the information on how you can help out. Now, as we have this serious conversation, I need you to hit that like button, hit the follow, hit the subscribe, and make sure you share this out there, okay? Let's just jump back into it. Also in Rochester, we got these crazy crimes and crazy criminals because in New York State, they don't lock nobody up. Our city council is consistently against the police. They do everything that they can to tear down the police. They've defunded the police, even though they've lied and tried to say, oh, well, we've never defunded the police. Lies. Okay, you've destroyed the morale of the police. Hardly nobody wants to go out and be a police officer because nobody feels supported. The mayor is about roughly the same. He hasn't said, oh, we're going to defund the police, but he hasn't done anything really to be supportive of the police. As a matter of fact, about a couple months ago, he was out there on the TV reading the Police to Riot Act, talking and dressing them down because they were responding to an HIS call where they needed assistance for the HIS officers. HIS is Homeland Security Investigations. That's like the FBI, that's like the Homeland Security version of the FBI. And he was dressing them down about that. This our mayor, right? Like the mayor and the city council, like they're in charge of the city. They're supposed to be the people that are the employers of the police, and they're making it a hostile work environment for our officers. Like, are you crazy? Any other job, that would be a heckified lawsuit. You understand what I'm saying? Like, this is for real. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe. Now, as we talk about this, we really need to dig into this because it's very frustrating being somebody that lives in a high crime neighborhood where you see the struggle every day, where you see the crimes and the violence every day. There was a domestic disturbance the other day where a man called the police because he was at his girlfriend's house. Her ex-boyfriend was outside trying to get in. He said that I think he has a gun, and he was trying to break through the window when the police showed up. The police showed up. They were like, hey, homie, what's going on? And the dude drove down on them. He pulled a gun out and started firing at the police. Pat, pat, pat. Shot the first police officer in the chest, took off running. Okay. Shot him 3 times. Thankfully, that police officer was wearing a vest, and he's in the hospital right now, but he's recovering. Then he runs, as they're chasing him, he shoots 2 other police officers. Okay. Both of the police officers are shot. Now we got 3 police officers shot. This guy is fleeing. Eventually they catch him and they end up shooting him out. Okay. And then after all of that, then the mayor gets on the TV looking all annoyed and irritated, like, why'd y'all wake me up out my sleep for this nonsense? Well, Mr. Mayor, you got woken up out your sleep for this nonsense because you don't want to hold criminals accountable, because you won't demand that the state assembly, that Damon Meeks, that Sarah Clark, that Jen Lunsford, that Harry Bronson, that the state Senate, okay, Samara Brooke, that, what's his name, Jeremy Cooney, that all of these people who are our local legislators, okay, that they change the horrible laws that are impacting us on the daily. Cashless bail, okay, also known as bail reform here in New York State, okay? You've got raise the age laws, which anybody under the age of 18 can do any type of crime. They can commit a murder, basically, and be out the same day, okay? Well, murder is about the only thing that you can't do. But anything else, they got bank robbers. Like, we had a couple of bank robberies with like 13, 14-year-olds robbing a bank, getting out of the jail the same day. Like, what type of message is that? You know, they break into all of these cars get stolen, damaged, destroyed. Nobody goes to jail. They don't fingerprint the cars. How are they supposed to catch the criminals? You understand what I'm saying? All of this comes down to laws and legislation. And where is the mayor on this piece? Why isn't he standing up and demanding that they change this? Because he doesn't want to go against his own party, because he's a Democrat and they're all Democrats. And we got like 55 years, almost we got a half century of completely solid Democrat rule in our city, and nothing is being done here. Nothing. And that's a serious problem. What's happening? Well, that's not true. Some things are being done. Most of the things are going backwards. You know, our GDP for our city is stagnant. It's been stagnant for the last 15 years. I think if you do it adjusted for inflation, it's been stagnant for the last 15 years. I think we barely went up last year, just a little teeny bit. Okay, just a little teeny bit. But we've got an outflow migration in our city of a gazillion people. You know, we used to have 500,000 people 50 years ago. Now we got like 150. You know, they try to pump it up and say we got like 190. We don't. But they're trying to push it. That's why they're trying to push all these illegals here. But that's a separate conversation. We'll talk about another time. But as we talk about this important impact of leadership in our city, I'm sure many of you guys in your other cities are experiencing similar issues. And we need to talk about these things. So hit that like button, hit the share button, get the message out there. If you're listening on the radio, you are tuned into The Divide with Marcus C. Williams. This is WRFZ 106.3 Rochester Free Radio. We are here in your ear, having the conversations you need to hear. We are here from 2:30 to 4 p.m. every Monday. Tune in every week. We'll catch you, and we're going to keep going. So share this, like this if you're online, and if you want to support the show and you're on the radio, go to patreon.com, go to Rochester Free Radio on Patreon, and you can donate, and in the notes, put the Divide with Marcus C. Williams, and it'll go as a credit towards our show to get us more airtime. If you're online, right there on the sides or right there down there to show you how you can help out the show. Now, let's jump back into it. You guys, let's get on some national level stuff because I want to blow through some stuff real quick, okay? We just had the AmFest, right? So AmFest is America Fest. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Y'all know me. I'm Captain America, General America, okay? Call me what you will, the King of America. Drink water, stay hydrated, y'all. I love my country. I'm one of the most patriotic people you'll find, okay? I love my country. I love TPUSA. I think they've done a fantastic job, okay? But I have a very big concern. I watched this event, and I'm like, you got Nicki Minaj out there, yo? Like, what has Nicki Minaj got to do with a conservative Christian event? Nothing. She is a harlot. How dare you bring a harlot on the stage at a conservative Christian event? Why would you do that? With impressionable young minds? Why would you do that? Okay? What type of evil nonsense is that? What type of pandering nonsense is that? Why would you let the devil in the door like that? Like, that's outrageous. Nicki Minaj, all she do is talk about WAP, her wet A-P. You understand what I'm saying if you don't know what I'm saying? Her wet private parts. What? You understand what I'm saying? All she do is talk about having sex and being and debauchery and setting up men and what do you call it? Just basically revelry, debauchery, and depravity. You know, everything that's anti-God is what she stands for. Why would you have her there? And she just came out there and talking about, oh, well, I really like that Trump is bold and he's doing some stuff. Man, don't nobody want to hear from you. Don't bring this crazy harlot around us. It's just like the GOP when GOP National brought Amber Rose to the National Convention. How dare you bring her to a conservative event? Like, are you serious? Like, she ain't nothing but a whore. Like, are you serious? Like, Amber Rose got famous for doing what? Sucking, and the other thing would start with an F. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's what she got famous off of. And you're going to have her come because, oh, well, she looked into Trump and now she's like, oh, well, Trump's not so bad. See, this fake appealing to the masses, especially this fake appealing to Black people, it's trash garbage. It's fake appealing to the youth. It's trash garbage. Guess what? Black people don't want that trash. Okay, guess what? Young people don't want that trash. Not anybody that has conservative values, which is the true people that you should be going after. Got a harlot up on a Christian conservative stage at AmFest. I'm so disgusted. Then you had a number of counter views on the stage at AmFest, which is okay, you know, right? Because we're not going to agree on everything. Different people are going to disagree on different things, you know. But I'm just watching, like, I wonder what's happening and going on here. Somebody said somebody said WAP. Thank you. I appreciate you. Who's that? Dave? Dave, I see you there. Dave said some stuff. Dave, what you talking about? Dave said, you need Nikki. She brings the youth through culture. And Cardi B was whatever. They're the same person. Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, the Megan Thee Stallion. He said that was the wrong people. I don't know. They're all the same to me. They're all whores and harlots. Why would we even? Why would we even have any of those people? I didn't. The rest of the stuff I said was 100% accurate. All she do was talking about popping her pee and sucking some D and stealing some money and doing some gangster stuff. Same. It don't matter. You know what I'm saying? So it's still harlotry, debauchery, depravity. Okay, we don't need none of that. Okay, what are we doing? As conservatives, what are we doing as Christians? What is the message? And this is the nonsense that's happening. The continued shift towards the left just to pander. And you're like, and Dave, you're like, oh, well, we need them to bring into you. No, we don't. No, we don't. Now you sound like the daggone Pope. And I'm so mad at him. Okay, if you guys don't know, a couple weeks ago, the Pope had a whole rave at a church. He had a whole rave at a Catholic church. I'm so upset with him. Right? Because how dare you make the church look like the world, especially in a time when there is so much depravity and ridiculousness in our world. And the people, especially the young people that are coming to Christ, want more traditional stuff. Now you're trying to sully the church by making it, oh, well, this party and rave atmosphere. You know what comes out of the party and rave atmosphere? Debauchery, drugs, premarital sex, extramarital affairs, okay? Depravity. All types of nonsense. And that's what you're going to do? That's what you're trying to make the church look like? So back to what Dave is saying, none of them people, all of them is crazy, bro. All of them is crazy. They're all demonic. Nikki's demonic. Okay, you watch some of her videos and stuff like that. You can see what's going on. We already know how the music industry gets down. So to say that we need them to reach the youth, no, that's not true. And I'll tell you why explicitly, David. Here's a big thing, and you can go look into this. The fastest growing sect of Christianity is orthodoxy. Why? Because orthodoxy sticks to the traditions, they stick to what they believe in, and they are unwavering. And that's the problem right now with many in the conservative movement, with many in the Republican Party. Y'all don't stand on principles. Y'all don't stand on virtue. Y'all don't stand on foundational values. Some of them don't even stand on the Constitution, y'all. Let's be real. The Second Amendment, they be very fast and loose with the Second Amendment. They be very fast and loose with government surveillance. They be very fast and loose with your tax money sending it overseas. Come on now. These people need to be held accountable. Like Anna Paul Luna said, you know, we need more people that are America first. We need to get these establishment people out of the way, because what's happening is they've had their heyday, they've made their money, and they've destroyed our nation, and they've destroyed the Republican Party because they've turned away from traditional values in favor of corporatism, filling their own pockets and selling out our nation. Thank God there are so many grassroots Republicans and young conservatives that are now starting to stand up and push back against this insanity, which is the establishment that is inside the GOP. Thank the Lord. Because, you know, the Democrats on the other side, they don't got none of that. They don't got none of that. They're moving all so crazy far to the left that they scaring people away from the Democrat Party. And now we got leftists coming over to the Republican Party talking about, oh, they're Republicans now because they got scared away from the Democrat Party because the Democrat Party went so left. Well, most of these people are not Republicans because they have no conservative or traditional Republican foundational values. They might be a little more what you would say is left of center, but we don't want nor need them. We want those type of people to go out and be independent. Please go be independent. Yes, I want your vote. Yes, I want you to vote Republican, but please be independent. Don't come sully our party. That's part of the problem. We talking about, oh, it's a big tent, just let everybody in. That's how you let the devil in. And that's why we're so left now. There's a problem internally in the Republican Party, and we need to have a serious conversation. We've got this massive shift to the left. Then we got these crazy people that are, oh, they're the alt-right or they're the far right or whatever. They're leftists too. They're leftists too. You look at what's it called him? Nick, what's his name? Nick Fuentes. You look at Nick Fuentes, he's an open socialist. All he talks about is expanding the government and more government repression and oppression. Are y'all serious? And y'all listening to this dude talking about, oh yeah, he's America first. That man is a socialist. He says it out his mouth. This is not me calling him anything that he's not. He says it, he perpetrates it, and all he talks about is expanding big government. Hello, y'all got to wake up, okay? Believe me because I'm telling you, don't believe me because I'm saying it, okay? I'm taking the time to tell you. Go look at it. He says it all the time. He's a socialist. Okay? Then he's a racist, but that's a whole separate conversation because I can't even get past the part that he's a socialist masquerading as a conservative. Like, shoot. Drink water, stay hydrated. So let's jump into some of these comments here. Let's see what we got. Who's that? Dave. Dave says, Nikki opposed the jab. She's in a redemption arc. Listen, dude, I pray she is. I pray she is, but I still don't want her on the stage of none of our shows. She might be able to come out to the event, okay? She might be able to come say hi, but she don't need to be on no stage. That's a fact. Until she change her music, give her life to Christ, she ain't got no business in nothing that we got anything to do with. She ain't got no business in nothing Republican. She ain't got no business in nothing conservative, for daggone sure, nothing conservative. And that's, again, goes back to part of the big problem. The Republican Party, and in many states there's a conservative party, that there's a conservative party because the conservative party itself split from the Republican Party because the Republican Party was moving away from conservative values. Now this big movement, the America First, the conservative movement, not necessarily mutually exclusive, but also similar in line. Okay, now you've got that, and that's all conservative. You've got the rise of the re-rise of Christianity. Some people call it Christian nationalism. All of that is a rise in conservatism. Okay, these are young Republicans that are conservative. The party needs to be going more conservative, not more towards the left. Like, why is it going, oh, well, we need to appeal more to the youth. The youth do not want what they see on the left. The left has butchered and badgered men for too long, okay? The left has destroyed the Black community. The left has destroyed the integrity and the strength of white young men. Okay, so now we got the whole Black community got tore up by the Democrats. The young white men got tore up by the Democrats. Okay, then you got the Puerto Ricans that have always been left out in the air. Okay, and who do the Democrats support? Illegal aliens and foreigners. They don't care about us. So when you say, oh, we need to appeal to these other people, no. We need to double, triple, quadruple, 10x down on conservative values, because then people know where we stand. They know that we're not moving, and they're more likely to vote for you if they know what you stand for and don't completely agree than the other people who they don't know what they stand for at all. And that's a message that's very important that we need to get out there. Okay? Drop a comment, y'all. Be part of the conversation. I'll try to pop your comment up on the screen. Okay, hit the like button, hit the share, get that message out there. If you want to support the show, check out the sides right there or check out down below, okay? Now, as we have this serious conversation in relation to the nature of the Republican Party, there was an issue where we just had Elise Stefanik running for governor in New York State. Now she's pulled out, and now Bruce Blakeman is going to be running for governor. Okay, I'm not very aware of who he is, or I know he's in, like, not Saratoga County. I forget what it is. Suffolk County. He's down in Suffolk County. He's like the county executive down there, and he opposed like different stuff during COVID, and he's done a ton of other stuff that seems to be really conservative. And I'm like, when I saw his ad, I was like, man, that dude sounds like everything I ever wanted from a Republican. You know what I'm saying? He really sounds like everything I ever wanted. Now, is he? I don't know. I just found this guy. I don't know anything about him. but he's now been nominated by the GOP state level to be the person that we run for governor. And he's also been endorsed by Donald Trump. So that's really kind of amazing how fast that turnaround time was. Elise said she's not running. They endorsed him like 5 minutes later. Like, that's kind of crazy how fast that happened. Okay, drink water, stay hydrated, y'all. But with that happening like that, now there's a big question going around. Where's the money going to go that was donated to Elise's campaign for governor? What's going to happen with that money? Well, I don't know. Will it go to the state GOP? I don't know. Will it somehow get into the campaign of Blakeman? I don't think so, because I believe there is a limit of $5,000 that they can donate in that way. I think they can donate the whole amount of whatever's in her campaign to the state party, which would really be some sort of a crazy maneuver and very questionable to many, many Republicans and many conservatives if that's what happens. Somebody watch that. I want updates on that, y'all. Keep me posted, okay? What happens to that money? But this is serious, right? We are in a state of disarray in New York State. The Republican Party, the Republican brand is lackluster because we don't see any deliverables. The real issue in the Republican Party, not just in the state, but across the country, is in areas that are adjacent to very strong Republican areas. Those Republicans that are in office, this is important, it's got to be the ones that are in office, don't come out to other communities and preach the gospel of conservatism. They don't even preach the regular gospel, but you know what I'm saying. So they don't explain why people should vote Republican, why we can help them out. You know what I'm saying? People see these different people running for candidacy and stuff like that. And that's one thing. It's different when somebody is in the office right now and they're speaking to you, you know? So this is something that's important. Occasionally they'll go to like a meeting or a club or something like that. That's a Republican place, but they're not out in the community. You know what I'm saying? They're not like, if like, let's say for instance, what's a deep red state? Tennessee, Tennessee, because I think Tennessee is a little better than Kentucky. Okay, let's say some of the senators from Tennessee or whatever the case is, who's down there? Marsha Blackburn? Is Blackburn down there? Blackburn might be down there. I'm trying to remember. Doesn't matter. But if they started doing some things in some adjacent areas that were more blue than their specific districts, it would help bring more people into the fold. And that's what we need. Because when people see people that are running for office, they're like, oh, well, they're not in office. You know, so where is the actual voice? And this is something that we need to have a serious conversation about. We have to focus on building up our bases, okay, and then spreading out from those bases and those strongholds. But what's happened for far too long is the Republican Party has built up these little fiefdoms, these little areas, and then when those areas are built up, all they do is try to defend those areas. And that's no way to grow. That's no way to even keep the ground that you have. You can't keep the ground that you have if you're constantly defending from attacks. Like, you're not going after the enemy. You're not pursuing the enemy on their territory. You won't go even a little bit, you know, and this is a serious problem. Like, if we're going to grow as a party, we need to stick to conservative roots and conservative values. And we need our elected officials, whether it's in the county ledge, whether it's in the city council, whether it's in the state level government, whether it's in the federal level government, to start going into those areas that are adjacent to their own, or maybe even a little further away. Okay. And start getting active out there and selling the message of republicanism. If they're not doing that, they're doing us a disservice. Hit that like button, hit that share button. It doesn't cost you anything. Get this message out there. Let's have the important conversations. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. Okay, follow my page. That always helps too. Now, let's talk about what's going on in Venezuela, right? So what's going on in Venezuela is it looks like really we're back to the Theodore Roosevelt, Monroe type of attitude, okay, where we run the Caribbean and we run the Pacific. Hey, man, you talking to me. I'm king of America, okay? I completely believe in doing all of that type of stuff. But the question is, what is the timing? What is the result? What are we getting from it? Who's actually benefiting? And these are the questions that we always need to ask. Who is benefiting from the issues with Venezuela? Who? That's my question. So you look at what Venezuela has as resources. They have different things like oil. They've got some gold. They've got a ton of different resources that we don't even talk about. And now we've got this lady that they're trying to push down there in Venezuela, talking about, oh, she's the resistance against Maduro. We need to make sure that we help her because she's all great and fantastic. And I'm like, what? What is she? Who is even this woman? Who is this woman? And it's crazy to me because nobody knows who she is. And she just got the Peace Prize. So why did she get the Peace Prize? She got the Peace Prize for what? Telling these people that they should invade Venezuela, that they should put armed rebellion against Nicolas Maduro. And that's crazy to me. That's crazy. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't or they should. I don't think that we should have any part of that. That's none of our affair. Okay. But it's, what's her name? Mikado? Yeah, it's Mikado. So, because she's working to promote democratic rights and a peaceful transition of power, when she's up there talking about, oh, the U.S. should use the military power against Maduro to push him out of power so I can get in. How is that peaceful, y'all? How is that peaceful? Is this the Twilight Zone? Maybe it's 1984 in the book 1984 by Orwell. If you haven't read it, go read it. Because that's peace is war and war is peace and strength is weakness and all of this other nonsense. If you guys read the book, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, it's very, very serious. And it's not like that. Like, stop letting these people play in your face. And that's very concerning to me. And I don't think people understand. People have to understand that when you hear these people talking like this and they're telling you stuff like, oh, peace is war, like that's right out of the the textbook, right out of the textbook of manipulation. Let me read you this here. Okay, war is peace is one of the three paradoxical slogans of the ruling party in George Orwell's dystopian novel 1984. Alongside freedom is slavery, where we heard this before, okay, where they're trying to say, oh, well, you can't have the Constitution, you can't be a Republican, you can't believe in free speech because that's violence against other people. That's crazy. And also ignorance is strength. Is that not what they propagate today? They want you to believe that a boy can be a girl and a girl can be a boy, and how dare you accept reality as nature would intend it, right? Like, can we talk about that? These type of things are called doublethink. The ability to hold two contrary beliefs simultaneously. This controls the population by twisting reality and logic where it perpetually creates war, internal instability, and it gives you the reason to surrender your freedoms for a false sense of security. It also encourages lack of knowledge, and the lack of knowledge ensures obedience. And this is what happens when you just defy all logic and reasoning and go with all of these things that sound good or feel good, you know, because you're always under the eye of Big Brother. And what's going on now? They're expanding the surveillance state. You know, more and more surveillance cameras, surveillance drones, all of them networked together, flock cameras and everything like that. They're starting to really creep us into a dystopian hellscape. And people need to wake up. You know, with the advent of AI, things like Palantir, you got to go look them up. Things like Palantir and what's going on with that, these facial recognition, these digital biometric recognitions, gait detection, GAIT detection. Okay, all of this, we got to look that up. Go look into it, what's going on. Because we got to be aware of what's going on. If we're not aware and we're not conscious, like we were just saying, ignorance, because even saying it is crazy to me. Ignorance is strength. right? That's what they want. They want you to be ignorant. They want you to be emotional. They don't want you to think freely, because if you think freely, you might challenge what they're saying. And they can't have that. No, they can't have that at all. Not a free thinking society. You must conform. Because if you don't conform and you don't comply, then they're coming with you. They're coming for you, excuse me, with more than the eye in the sky. That's very serious. We really, really, really need to pay attention. This is why we need local laws against all of this surveillance technology, and not enough of that is being put in place, even in conservative and Republican areas, because they don't see it as an issue. All they see is what's going on where, oh, well, it's for safety, it's for protection. They're trying to network all of the cameras and stuff together here where I live, and they don't put criminals in jail. What do you mean you're networking all the cameras together to spy on everybody 24 hours a day, wherever they drive, wherever they go, wherever it is in public? What do you even mean? Why would you do that when you're not putting criminals in jail? Hello, who are they really looking after? Who are they really spying on? Y'all guys really got to think on what's really, really, really going on and what's really being done. If you're online, take 2 seconds, hit the like button, hit the share button, drop a heart or American flag in the comments. It don't matter. Just drop any type of comment to let us know you're there and to help the algorithm. And if you want to be part of the conversation, you can drop a whole comment and we'll pop your comment up on the screen and we'll have a conversation about it. So the other day, Trump did a I guess you'd say a presentation, right? It's like a 17-minute presentation or something like that at the White House. And I just saw somebody sent me a video from The View last night, and I was looking at it. They're like, look at this. And they're like, oh, all Trump did was talk down about Democrats and about immigration, how he's deporting all the illegal aliens. And then they just started to go into some rant about how he was talking about how they're not even criminals, they're only crime. Hold on, first you said they're not criminals, then you said they're only crime. How does that even work? Again, this double speak nonsense. Their only crime is coming into this country illegally. Okay, so send them back. Like, what do you even mean? Like, how is that a complicated thought? Like, what even are you talking about? So, but this is the important conversations that we need to have. So these people are on The View are saying, oh, well, that's all he was talking about. I watched the whole thing that Trump did. I watched it like twice, because I wanted to really see if there's anything I was missing, if I caught everything he said, because if y'all don't like Trump, that's one thing. If you love Trump, that's another thing. But if y'all listen to Trump and what he says, there's a lot of truth and information in what he says all the time. The problem is he talks a lot and he's extremely braggadocious. So you never quite know what he's going to say and where the actual information is. So sometimes you got to listen extra hard. So I listened to the whole thing twice. I didn't even remember that he talked about any of what they're talking about. So it must have been a very small section, because I've listened to a lot of Trump stuff and that man can talk. I know he can talk because I can talk. You know what I'm saying? So when I was watching it, he talked about the new dividend, what did he call it? The warrior dividend for the troops. He gave them $1,776, $1,776, like the year of our nation, and that money came out of the tariff money that was deposited from the tariffs, which is awesome, because that means that it doesn't affect inflation. That means that it doesn't hurt the deficit. It doesn't do any of that, So I'm like, okay, I wish I could have got a check from that too, but hey, but those $2,000 checks that they were talking about could possibly be sent out of the tariff revenue are possibly going to come out next fourth quarter. So back probably November, December of next year, because they plan to hit the amount of money that would be necessary for that level of disbursement by June. But that's what they've said the whole time. So people are out here like, oh, well, where's the money that Trump promised for this or for that? Well, you didn't listen to him on the timetable for that. You didn't listen to the CBO or the Office for Budget Management on that. Like, what? Because people don't listen, because they don't care. They just want to be so mad at him and hate him for everything. People were in the comments of the video I did on this talking about, oh, they're never going to get that money. They're never going to da-da-da-da-da-da. He's a liar. He's a this, he's a that. Now, if you would have watched the video, and even in the video I put up, I played what he said. He said the checks were already in the mail. And he said, didn't nobody even really know about it until like 30 minutes ago. And that was crazy to me. I was like, this man's on top of it, talk about efficiency. Okay. So he sent it out. I got a number of friends and family members that already told me that they received their stuff just the other day. And he said that most of them will be out by the 20th. I know a ton of people that got their bonuses by the 20th. So that's crazy. And then people were mad that he gave them money. And I'm like, but what do you mean? I didn't see you complaining about the air traffic controllers or the border patrol getting bonuses for working when the shutdown was, when they weren't getting paid at all, and they were still working for our nation anyway. So I didn't hear that. But now Trump goes and announces something positive. So you at him for this? Like, see, these are the issues. Like, there are some real legitimate things and issues that people can have with Trump when it comes to policy. This ain't it. This ain't it. And then another very crucial part that people always talk about, oh, well, healthcare this, healthcare that. That is not the responsibility of the president of the United States, you guys. That is Congress. You got to focus on the right level of government on the right issue. So if you're talking about healthcare, that is really an issue with Congress. Now, let's talk about that. Because again, in Trump's speech just the other day, okay, he brought up Trump RX, which is going to be this platform online. I believe it launches today, actually. I think it launches today. I'm going to double check while we're talking. But he talks about Trump RX and how that launches. And it's going to be a website, essentially, where you can go and find less expensive drugs. That's really awesome. Because a lot of the medication is very, very expensive. Very, very expensive. It says, let's see, it says it's slated for the beginning of January, it says early January, but I'm pretty sure he said that it's going to be up online for you to look at in sometime this week, well, but I mean, I guess it is kind of early January or late December, right? So it's coming up real soon. Now, what happened with this is you're going to be able to see this and see a whole bunch of discounts on drugs. So go check it out. And a lot of this comes from the most favored nations and this MFN. Now, this was what he also discussed in the press conference briefly. The MFN basically is where whatever they pay in India is what we pay here. Whatever they pay in Ethiopia is what we pay here. Because what happens is companies like, let's just say Pfizer has a drug over here. We spend $3,900 for it, but it's given away in Somalia for $20. Okay, now that's not fair. How's that work? We pay $5,000 for it over here. It's given away in India for $10. That's not fair. How does that even work? You know what I'm saying? So with the most favored nations, we pay the lowest amount that any other country pays. So if they're paying 10 cents, we're going to pay 10 cents. Okay? So that's a really great boom for a lot of people who are reliant on drugs, no, RX drugs. Let me be very clear, pharmaceuticals, that's very, very, very important. And this is going to save a lot of people a lot of money. How come we can't talk about this? We really need to. So this is also going to help with the Medicaid discounts because it's going to save a lot of money. And it's very interesting how this whole thing is working out. But he talked about all three of those things and a whole bunch of braggadocious stuff during his thing, and nobody's talking about it. Like, that's so crazy. Like, the left won't even talk about it at all. They're like, oh, well, he's cutting the subsidies to the... No, he's not. That's Congress. That don't got nothing to do with the president. Okay. Oh, well, he's destroying healthcare. No, he's not. He's the president. He's not in charge of any of that. Now, the Democrats, the craziest thing about them is the Democrats are the ones who put in the sunset clause on those subsidies on the Affordable Care Act. Now, listen to me and hear me well. This was done during COVID. They did not have those subsidies before. Okay, those subsidies got put in place for the medical stuff during COVID. They were supposed to expire this year. The Democrats wrote that law and they set it to expire. Why would they do that, y'all? Why would they do that? Ask the questions. Y'all make me feel like that duck in the little meme. Why would you do that? But yeah, no, seriously. We need to have these conversations. Why would they set it to expire in 3 years? Well, one, this is from all of this extra COVID money that was pumped into the economy by the continuous printing of money. So all this did was make the fat cats in the medical industrial complex get ultra wealthy. Some pharmaceutical companies and medical providers, their stock is shot up 1,000%. Well, wait a second. Who has a lot of money invested in the stock of the pharmaceutical companies and of the medical insurance providers? Congress. Hello, y'all. Understand that y'all done got the flim flam run on you. Wake up. These people do not have our best interests at heart. We really got to pay attention. And I know I'm talking about the Democrats right now, but all of Congress, y'all, all of Congress. These people do not have our best interests at heart. It's very few people in Congress that have good intentions for all the American citizens, along with good policies. You know, I think it was Chip Roy, and Chip Roy said, you know, at some point, they're going to try to kick out everybody from the Congress. And I was like, don't threaten me with a good time. Don't threaten me with a good time. Kick them out. Kick them out. Kick them all out. And it's really, really sad that we don't see what's going on. Because these people that are in Congress are actively working against our best interests as individuals. I want to see if I could find a brief clip. So bear with me as I go through this and I try to find it. Let's see. Here it is. Listen, listen. Take a listen. Oh, is it not? What's going on with my volume here? Oh, where's the volume? Volume. I don't want closed captioning. I want volume. Volume. Okay, play. You gonna play for me? No, unmute. Okay, it's unmuted. Now I need it to play. Members of the Senate. Replay. I hope y'all can hear it. Let's see. Is it gonna play? Why does it keep muting? Let's see. Let's see. To the Senate and start over because Congress is literally failing the American people. I need you to replay. At some point, people look at this body and say, all right, let's try this one more time. Why does it keep muting? In all 100 members of the Senate and start. There we go. At some point, people look at this body and say, maybe we should get rid of all 435 members of the House and all 100 members of the Senate and start over because Congress is literally failing the American people. At some point, people look at this body. Absolutely. Get rid of all of them. All 435 members of the House and all 100 members of the Senate need to get out. They're all terrible, bro. Like, all of them are so super trash. Like, there's barely even a little bit of people in there that are any good. Who's out there talking? Gwendolyn, I see you out there. Absolutely right. Thank you for commenting, Gwendolyn. Let's pop you up there. See, but these are the conversations we need to have. Like I keep trying to tell people, people get upset like, oh, Trump this, Trump that. Most of people's issues are with Congress. Trump is a major distraction. And it's hard to tell people this because nobody wants to listen because everybody wants some great big giant enemy that seems so much bigger than them and so much badder that they can actually put and condense down into one small segment. Like, they're like, oh, he's a great bad guy. Let's make him the propaganda child for everything. Most of the stuff ain't got nothing to do with him, but they try to focus on him all the time. This is really crazy what's going on right now in Congress. Now, in the meantime, while you were sleeping, Congress passed the NDAA with $300 million for Ukraine, and I believe it was a half a billion for Israel. Like, this is crazy. Like, what does that have to do with the National Defense Authorization Act? No, none of that got nothing to do with my national defense. Ukraine ain't got no borders inside the U.S. Ukraine ain't part of the U.S. Israel ain't part of the U.S. Why are we giving them money in our national defense spending budget? Can you make that make sense? If you can make some sense of that, drop a comment. I want to hear what your sense is of that. Because this makes no sense. It makes less than no sense. It is nonsensical. You understand? But this is what happens in Congress. And this is why you have to be very careful with what these people on the TV push to you, because they will sell you lie after lie after lie to cultivate the way that you think, to push the agenda that they want to push. They don't care about you. They don't know you. Why would they care about you? You're not their friend. You're not putting money in their pocket. Why would they even care about you? And that's what people forget. These people in the media don't care about you. These people in the music industry, they don't care about you. These people that are the puppeteers behind the daggone scenes, they definitely don't care about you. And you know who else doesn't care about you? Most of these representatives that are in Congress don't care about you. I could probably name five in the Senate and the House together that I know that are kind of for us. Anna Paul Luna, Chip Roy, Thomas Massey, Rand Paul. Who else? Oh, I can actually name a couple more. Marsha Blackburn, Senator Kennedy. Who else we got? Tim Burchett. Love Tim Burchett. Who else we got? Kim, what's her name? Kim McCormick. Love her. I don't know, maybe I got two more in me somewhere, right? You know, almost 10 out of 535. You know what I'm saying? Maybe if I were to stretch it, I could find 20 people that I kind of like, you know, but this is the problem. This is the problem. Most of them, it's trash. It's such a serious thing. Also, Denmark has flipped its script in the news over Greenland. They're like, oh, respect our sovereignty, U.S. Shut up, Denmark. Who are you? Don't tell us what to do. That's just me being very braggadocious as an American, right? Because who the F is Denmark? Nobody know no Denmark. You ask any American on the street, they can't put you Denmark on a map. Nobody know where Denmark is. Denmark this big. Nobody care about you, Denmark. Greenland, on the other hand, we love you, Greenland. Come into the fold. So they're mad because the U.S. is pushing a referendum in Greenland so that Greenland pushes for sovereignty to separate from Denmark. Now, this has happened before, actually. I don't know if it ever got completely to the part where they were looking to actually do the vote, but it's only like, I think, 50,000 people or something that live on there in Denmark. It's a big ice sheet. It's mostly wild land. So but that's back in the news again. So I don't know, y'all. If Trump ends up getting Greenland, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I hope he gets Greenland. I hope he gets Greenland. And in the meantime, I think we should work on our relationship with the Philippines and bring them back in the fold too. Okay, because if we're going to fight somebody, maybe we fight ISIS in the Philippines and liberate the Philippines and bring the Philippines back home. Philippines, we miss you. We ain't treat you good when we had you, but we miss you, baby. Come on back. Okay, we'll give you full statehood and everything. Okay, I'd be the #1 champion on that. And people be like, well, Marcus, why would you do that? Because, bro, do you know what's going on in that part of the world? We don't have enough territory or enough bases or enough people. You know, so China's growing on the world scale. They're putting a base like 50 miles from Guam. Like, that's crazy. Like, if they put a base 50 miles from Guam, they can sink like all of our fleet that's at Guam. Like, can we have that conversation? We need more territory over there so we can train up more troops, put more weapons and stuff over there, because we trying to be out here acting like we ain't got no threats when we know China is the biggest threat to the United States that we have ever faced in our life, not just in our life, but in the lifetime of our whole nation. Okay, I mean, outside of the devil, we ain't got too much more of a serious enemy than China right now. And that's for real. And that's for real. And we need to have that conversation. Now, another couple of things that have been going on, and I think this is very important to talk about, is what's been happening with the, I guess you would say, the continued situation in Europe with all of these illegal aliens, or I guess they're not illegal aliens over there, but migrants or whatever, where they're having all of these stabbings and shootings and crimes and Christmas festivals being attacked and all of this and all of that. Can we ever talk about that? Or no, because it's Christians? And that really bothers me, y'all. Like, I can't emphasize, we talked about it on the beginning of the show a little bit. I'm not able to emphasize enough how much I can't stand the fact that Christians are consistently under attack and we can't even talk about it. Because nobody wants to talk about it, because it's not anti-Semitism. It's not what do you call it? Islam. No, what's the other one? Islamophobia. Okay. So we can't talk about any of that. Can we talk about how ICE is trying to operate it right now in, is it Minnesota? It might be Minnesota. Don't quote me on the state, but I'm like 90%. Yeah, Minnesota, St. Paul. It's in St. Paul right now, where they're working on going after some illegal aliens out there. And what's happening is they've got all these crazy people doing psychological warfare against the ICE people, like playing loud music all times of the night and trying to block off their cars. And they rammed a couple of the ICE people the other day, just last night. Can we talk about that? Like, this is internal destabilization in our nation. And the only thing that is going to fuel is the expansion of federal government power. And I'm completely against that. So these knuckleheads need to knock that nonsense off, because as much as I want them to go out and arrest all these illegal aliens and send them all back, is the same level of I don't want them to expand the surveillance state. So if you don't want them to expand the surveillance state, y'all idiots need to stop doing this nonsense, because you're messing it up for all of us. And then they'll say, oh, well, if you just didn't go after the illegal, what? They're not from or of this country. And if you love them so much, why don't you go to their country? Hello, what's going on? We can't even talk about that. These people are ridiculous. You can't negotiate with them, because they got in their mind that they're so right. They are absolute zealots. You can't do nothing with a zealot except put them down like a dog. And that's a daggone shame to say that, but y'all go look at history about what a zealot is and what they do and how they behave. Okay, that's these crazy people that are out here shooting people up for ideology. That's what we're facing right now in our own nation. The murder of Charlie Kirk, the what's the other guy's name? The guy that tried to take out Trump, the guy, I don't know if it was the guy, whoever he is, the guy that took out the CEO, okay, which is kind of crazy that they killed that CEO from, what was it, United Healthcare, when he was about to turn state's evidence against BlackRock because they were overcharging people desperately. And he wanted to stop that. And then all of a sudden he died, and all of the news was about how he was the CEO and he was overcharging people, but he was trying to turn state's evidence against BlackRock of them forcing him to just cut people off of services and stuff. And then what happened? After he was murdered, they did even more of it. BlackRock issued a document. You can go look this up. Like, don't believe me because I'm saying it. Believe me because I'm telling you. Like, all the information is out there. BlackRock issued a thing saying that they're accepting too many people's healthcare claims and they need to stop. Crazy. But we can't talk about that because they don't want you to talk about that, because they want to keep you distracted. They want to keep you distracted. Another thing that Trump talked about in his little interview thing, not interview, but speech thing, was that they've built like a ton of new power plants in the United States. You know where they haven't built many power plants? In New York State, because New York State has opposed like every power plant, every pipeline project, and everything. Our state assembly and our state senate, they're trash, a whole lot of them. They're trash, the governor's trash, okay, we need to get these people out of there. But the Democrats have been controlling it for over 30 years, you know, over more than most of the people my age have been alive. You know, like, can we have that conversation? It's craziness. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy, but we can't talk about that. Why aren't we getting all of these energy projects? I can't remember how many he said, but I was looking at the Department of Energy the other day, and I think we're up to like 350 or something like that. I believe it's 238 have already been completed in this term underneath Trump. That's amazing. That's amazing. I wonder whatever happened with the Dakota Access Pipeline and the Keystone Pipeline. Like, those were major political things at one point, but I don't know whatever happened with that. I'd really be interested in finding out more about that. We also have Dan Bongino getting ready to step down. So Dan Bongino is getting ready to step down from the FBI. And this is interesting because this was after rumors that Kash Patel was going to step down. Now Dan Bongino is stepping down instead, question mark. Maybe he's not stepping down instead. Maybe Kash will step down soon too, because his little girlfriend, people aren't very happy with his little girlfriend, who they're saying is a Israeli honeypot spy. I don't know how much truth there is to that, but it seems like there might be some there. So very, very likely maybe, because he's gone on a whole bunch of tour on podcasts with his little girlfriend thing, talking about, oh, she's not a spy. And it's like, what do you call that? When you go and you do a PR tour trying to make things look better. So I don't trust it because he's a Fed now, right? Like, who trusts the Feds? No, listen to me very clearly, you guys. No matter how little you trust the government too much still. Okay. And whenever somebody tells you, oh no, the government would never do that. Oh, yes, they would. Go look up Operation Northwoods. Go look up Operation MK Ultra. Go look up whatever the one was where they dropped all of those biological agents into the fog in San Francisco. That one, that's crazy too. There's just a ton of them that have been declassified that we can go through. Yes, the government would do that. The government is evil, y'all. That's why I believe very firmly in small government. That's why I'm Republican, because Republican Party, the Republican platform is small government. But you got all of these crazy crackpots in the Republican Party right now talking about they want to expand government power. They want to increase the size of the government. I don't want to increase the size of the government. I want everybody out the government. Okay, I want the government to be 1/10 of the size that it is now. I want a government so small that I can hold it in the palm of my hand and I can crush it if need be. Okay, can we be really real for a second? The government was never seen to be something that was going to be this big or this powerful by the founding fathers. If they woke up today knowing what they knew then and seeing what they see now by the government, I'm not even talking about technology or nothing, just the way the government is operating, how much power they have, they flip out. They flip out. So when Chip Roy is, we need to one day the people are going to wake up and they're going to want to get rid of all 435 members of the House and all 100 members of the Senate. That day is today. I want them all gone. I want them all gone. Y'all disservice us. Shrink the government, cut all the government jobs. Okay. Trump also spoke on that in his conference. He was like, yeah, all of the jobs that we have created, and the job numbers are up very high since he's taken office, which is kind of cool. The last quarter, very much so. And he was like, yeah, all of the jobs that we've created have been in the private sector. None of them have been in the government. He said, I could actually make a lot of jobs in the government, and then people would praise me and say, oh, well, look at all the jobs I made and stuff like that. But he said, even if I did that, they wouldn't praise me anyway. You know, and I don't want him to do that anyway. Cut all the government positions. I want 99% of the government cut. Okay. And people be like, oh, well, that's people's jobs. Let them work in the private sector. Let them work in the private sector. The government should not be that big. The more larger the government is, the more easier it is for them to shuffle away your money. That's why right now, I believe it's about $8 trillion of our national debt of the $38 trillion. $8 trillion of it is intergovernmental debt. How does the government owe its own self money? Can we stop and have that conversation for a second? Like, that is the insanity of the way our government operates. The government owes itself $8 trillion. Intergovernmental debt. How does that even work? How does that even make sense? They're the ones who print the money. How do you owe your own self money? And it's our tax money, right? So they're stealing your tax money to pay their debts. So why would they incur those debts? You don't want them to incur those debts. I don't want them to incur those debts because I don't want them to tax us anymore. I want us to be much lower. Listen, if there's any tax at all, taxes shouldn't be greater than 3%. That is the largest tax that there should be. And there should be no taxes on your income. There should be no taxes on your property because you bought that. You own that. You work for your income. You shouldn't be paying anything else on it. That's my word for you guys today. If you're listening on the radio, I love you all. If you're online, hit the like button, hit the share button, get this message out there. It don't cost you nothing. If you're on the radio, you guys, you can donate to the radio station on Patreon. Go to patreon.com and go to Rochester Free Radio. You can click in there and you can donate and just put in there The Divide with Marcus C. Williams, and that credit will go to our show to get us more airtime. And if you're online, check out the sides over there or check out down there, and that's how you can help out the show, because we need to have more of these important conversations. I love you all. Remember, God bless America. Stand up, speak up, and don't shut up. Take action. Be blessed and be well. Hold tight 1 second, you guys online, as I get this set up. Where is did they change this? Hold on, they changed something on the computer. Where? I don't see it. Huh. They'll figure it out. I don't see it. I don't see it. Huh. Okay, so there's supposed to be something over here that I'm supposed to click normally, and I don't see where it is. I want to just click random stuff. Well, I'm going to click something random. I hope they figure it out. Let somebody else figure it out. That's not my job. I can't figure out where the thing is that I'm supposed to click. It's supposed to be right there, and I don't see it. Why don't I see it? I don't know. I clicked it. They'll figure it out. Let them figure it out. Anyway, how you guys doing? I appreciate you guys tuning into the show. I really want y'all to know that I love you guys. I love our country, and that it's up to us to fight back against what's going on in our nation. If we want anything to change in our country, we have to be the ones to be the change that we want to see. We have to encourage others to get active. And where can you get active? Locally. Locally is where you can make the difference. Locally is how we can actually have a Merry Xmas. I see you two there. Who's that? David? Is that David? Dave, I see you. Yeah, have a Merry Christmas, Dave. Locally is where you can actually make a real difference, you guys. Never forget that. Your local city council, your local school board, your local fire district, whatever you can, get a couple of people together that are interested in one of the branches of the government locally and just go to some meetings, see what's going on. Maybe if you're a Republican, join the Republican committee locally where your township is, and then you can get more involved or get involved in your county committee. You can actually start to make a change. I know things seem so overwhelming right now with what's going on in our country and in the world. I can't tell you what the future is going to look like, but I can tell you this. If you have hope and if you stand up to be that light, to light the way for others and encourage them to stand up, we can have a brighter future together. I love you all. I'm going to sign off. Y'all be blessed, be well. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and the share button. I'll catch you guys later, and stay tuned.